Hello there everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we have a very simple smoky eye for you that I'm going to help you recreate in this video. So I'm using a Sigma eyeshadow base in the shade Persuade, I believe, and I'm just blending it out with my finger to lay down a nice eyeshadow primer for our eyeshadows that are going to go on top. And then I'm taking this KVD Vegan Beauty Shade and Light eyeshadow palette, and I'm taking a really fluffy blending brush from Morphe, and I'm taking that really cool toned gray shade at the top to blend out into the crease. Then I'm taking this darker brown shade on a fluffy blending brush that's slightly smaller, and I'm applying that all over to my mobile lid. And when you recreate this, you're gonna say at this stage, you're gonna say to yourself, wow, this looks terrible. I look like I got punched in the face, but I promise you, if you just keep going with it, it will come out, no worries. Just make sure that you blend and blend and blend it up into your crease as well. Then on a fluffier blending brush, I'm going to take this lighter shade from the palette, and I'm just mainly going to apply this on the outer corners and the outer portions of the eyeshadow to make sure that everything is nice and blended and we don't have any harsh edges, and this is just going to mesh everything together and look a little bit more blended. Then I'm going to take this highlighting palette, and I'm taking this bronzy shade that is just way too dark for my skin tone, but I'm going to use it on a fluffy blending brush around the mobile lid just to add a little bit of shine there and a little bit more brightness to the inner corners. Then I'm taking a MAC Eye Stroke liquid liner, and I'm just lightly lining my top lids and not doing anything crazy with the liner, just making a nice thin line to add some definition to the lashes there. Since I have a more visible tight line, I like to take a brown liner and just run that on the tight line of my eyes. That way the eyeshadow look looks a little bit more put together. It's something that you could probably do if you have a more visible tight line. Some people have it, some people don't. Just maybe pop on some liner there. Then I'm taking this MAC face primer. I believe this is a Time Lock face primer. It's just gonna help lock in all of our makeup and make sure it lasts throughout the day. And then using the Rare Beauty foundation, I'm just buffing that into the skin very lightly to add some coverage and, you know, even out the skin tone for now. After I've laid everything down with the buffing brush, I do like to go in with this makeup sponge around the edges of my foundation to make sure everything is nice and blended. This is actually an Amazon beauty sponge, not a beauty blender, and it works almost exactly the same. Then I'm using the Rare Beauty concealer after we apply it all over where we want that concealer, usually on the under eyes and any areas where I have blemishes. I'm going to use a fluffy brush to blend it out. And for the larger areas of the face, I do follow up with the beauty sponge again, just to make sure that everything is blended in seamlessly into the skin as well. Then with a fluffy brush, I'm taking the RCMA No Color powder, and I'm applying that to the center portion of my face where I had any concealer there, just to set that, make sure it doesn't budge, and also to reduce any shine on the inner portion of my face. Just to add a little bit more coverage, I'm taking MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade NW22, and I'm lightly applying that to the outer portions of my face or anywhere where I have more breakouts, just to add slight coverage there. But I take that Studio Fix powder in a shade C40, which is several shades darker than my skin tone, and I'm applying that to the outer portions of the face to start somewhat bronzing the outer portion of the face. Then for my bronzer, I'm using a Smashbox bronzing and highlighting palette, and I'm going to run this slightly yellowish shade on the inner portions of my face as well, just to brighten that inner portion. Then I'm taking a slightly warmer bronzer shade from that same palette, and I'm applying that over where we applied the MAC powder, just to add a little bit more warmth into the skin and add some color there. So mainly on the outer portions of my cheekbones, slightly on my temples, and around my hairline. I also like to, with barely any product left on the brush, just run that slightly on the sides of my nose to add a little bit of color there as well. And for my blush, I'm using this Smashbox Crush on Blush palette, and I'm using a shade called Guava, and it's just a really nice peachy tone that goes with almost every eyeshadow look. Taking a Morphe highlighting brush, and I'm taking this really nice champagne-y shade of highlighter on the high points of my skin. Usually I like to apply that onto the tops of my cheekbones, on my brow bone, and run slightly on the bridge of my nose as well. For my brows, I first brush them out to make sure there's no excess product, and I'm taking a MAC eyebrow styler, and I'm using this shade Stylized first to lay down a very nice shape to my eyebrows, and then I also follow up with an eyebrow cake powder just in any sparse areas to make sure that the brows look defined, but not too harsh, not too crazy for the look. Next, I'm going to go ahead and curl my eyelashes. This is one from e.l.f. that I purchased from the drugstore, just giving the lashes a nice curl that will aid our mascara and making our lashes look longer and fuller. For my mascara, I am taking a concoction. First, I'm using Maybelline The Falsies Mascara in the shade Black on my top and bottom lashes as our first coat of mascara. Then I'm taking an Estee Lauder mascara that was gifted to me, and I'm using that on top of the Maybelline mascara. I like to use these two together because the Falsies one is very separating but very lengthening, and this one adds a little bit more volume, so I like to mix those two together. Then I'm using this Makeup by Mario lip palette, and I'm using a slightly peachier shade for my lips, but I felt like it was a little too dark of a color, so I went ahead and followed it up with a slightly more nude shade from the same palette just in the center of the lips to make it a little bit more nude, a little bit more wearable for the eyes. And then I also like to top it off with a clear gloss just because I am a gloss girl, so a clear gloss on top to seal the deal. And with that, this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a really simple and easy smoky eye that can be created with just a few products. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video.